Hey everyone, so today's video we got some big news. We saw in content creator chat that Atalann is actually going to get a buff. Now, I use buff in quotes because I don't know what the devs constitute as a buff, right? So the nice thing is this banner is up for 12 days, so we should know what the change is to Atalann on Monday. So I'll be putting out a video on what the changes are. They might even introduce it, as a patch notes to the whole community and not just content creators. But either way, I want you guys to stay tuned for Monday's change. All right. Now, I have said in my videos that I don't quite know what can be changed to make her viable, but a really good start is if something is unresistible, because if she is unresistible, you can build her as a damage dealer and then she gets all the benefits of the freeze, which is awesome, right? So something that is severely lacking for water are damage dealers. They don't have a whole lot of them. What you have right now is actually one of the reasons why I ended up building out Naya, is because of the lack of water damage dealers. You have Nero, which has kind of even fallen off. He's still really good. He's a good cleaver, but it just it depends on your draft where he's going to fit in. But I still use him plenty. He's a really nice damage dealer whenever somebody will pick Alicia and Karma. He can one-shot both of them, which is really nice. But Naya is your other damage dealer, really great against guard units, anybody who puts up a shield. Obviously, I showcase Naya a lot. Atara is still a decent damage dealer in her own right. And then after that, it kind of falls off. I still think Ciara is a little bit underrated. But as you see, there's not much. So, if you have Adalan being able to not need focus on her kit, you can build her in damage. She does have a decent amount of attack. As we all know, she is a true striker. So that allows her to be built very fast. And then you can kind of sprinkle in your attack and your crit damage as needed. So she's going to be built similar to someone like Elise, right? Elise has a true strike as well. She's very fast, and then she can do a decent amount of damage. So if, and that's a big if, I don't know what they're going to do, but if they make her stuff unresistible, I think she can be, top tier. So that's that. The other part of this video is going to be a discussion, okay? Yesterday in the Discord, there was a really, spirited debate on whether this hero is good or not, okay? So there's a couple really just good players in the game. One of them happens to be in my guild, and that is Escape. So Escape is one of the top players in the game, in my opinion, from a PvP and PvE perspective, and he was arguing that Atalann was going to be PvP meta. Now, I don't necessarily disagree with that, but my argument against Atalann has been the fact that the investment cost is too high for a hero that does similar things to other heroes that we already have in the meta. My argument to that was, and it's something that I've been doing when I compare Atalann to another hero, is Atalann does almost identical things to Tidecaller, right? Now, I have talked about how Tidecaller is a fantastic hero. I think Tidecaller is great. He has very nice base speed. He has a really underrated passive. His trait also does something similar where the freeze can't be removed, but he does add this frozen mechanic. Those affected by frozen actually have increased damage taken whenever they're frozen. So it kind of adds on to what the frozen mechanic already does. But instead of 50%, it goes up to 60%. So he adds an additional 10% damage onto those people, which is kind of nice. But the thing with Tidecaller is Tidecaller has an unresistible 2-turn freeze, on his ultimate. So, they do very similar things where her ultimate is also 2 turns. It is a freeze, but her freeze is resistible, which is one of the downsides, right? So that's a comparison that I have made in the past, and Tidecaller is just an epic. So in order to get his speed high enough and all of those things, it's much easier to do that than with, Atalann, who needs an A3 to get her speed up to plus 15. And then on top of that, you do need her speed physique booked, and you need 4 out of 4 on the gear in order for this to be achievable, right? So that has been my argument. Now, one thing that Escape was mentioning, which I think does have some merit, is Atalann is extremely fast. So in my speed table here, you can see that Atalann increases the speed meta a little bit. So she falls right in line with the 9th fastest speed in the game. So, you have heroes up here like Desdemona, Darkophilia, Halia. These heroes outspeed, but Desdemona and Darkophilia actually need they need their ascended A1 in speed, so you need 2 copies of them for them to actually outspeed Atalann. And this was kind of Escape's counter argument, was that Atalann is so fast that she's able to outspeed people like Alicia and Elise, right? So that makes her viable on her own. The thing was, my counter argument was Tidecaller is also faster than these people. Tidecaller is 1 speed faster than Alicia, and he's faster than Elise. He's also faster than Darkophilia and Desdemona if they are not Ascended 1, because they need that A1 in their speed for the plus 15. And if they don't get it, Tidecaller will be faster because their speed will drop down to 171. Where Tidecaller is 176, and it's much easier to get his ascensions, right? But if the change happens to Atalann, where her frozen is unresistible, something that Tidecaller does not have is extremely high attack, right? So if you can make Atalann, look at his attack, it's 1,000, where in comparison to Atalann's it's 1,500. He's also a light hero. Atalann is water, and we've already discussed that Atalann, that the water damage dealers are lacking. So it helps kind of take away from what the meta is right now, which is a lot of light and dark, and then some high-performing fire units, right? You have your Alicias, you have your Karmas. Alicia even fits in there from that perspective. So, yeah, if her change ends up being what I hope it is, which is something unresistible, I hope it's not just in the ultimate either, then I think she can be extremely strong. Now, even if she didn't get this change, it begs the question of what is a good hero, right? Because that's what the debate was about around Atalann. I've been pretty harsh on Atalann. I've been calling her garbage, which is definitely harsh. She's certainly viable, but whenever you look at her in comparison to the other seasonal heroes, I think that's why I've been so low on her. Like, if you look at Guan Yu, right? I mean, Guan Yu has just been absolutely amazing everywhere. He's used in Witch of the Wind. He's used in Gemini Dragon. He's used in Arena. He's used in Guild versus Environment. He's used in Guild Boss. That is what you want out of a seasonal hero. But I know every hero can't be Guan Yu, right? But even if you look at Rosalie, right? Rosalie is really strong in PvP. She's really good in Rift of Chaos. She's really good in Guild versus Environment. She's really good in faction challenges. Like, even though she's not as strong as Guan Yu, she is still a fantastic investment. She helps you farm Ash 16 as a new player all the way up to Ash 16 to get legendary gear, right? She can farm all the way up to Ash 19. So I think when you're looking at it in a vacuum, we're probably treating Atalann a little unfairly just because we have such high expectations out of these seasonal heroes, which I think we should. This is supposed to be something like a special hero that comes every 3 months, and it's supposed to be really good for the community. So whenever you have a hero that does not perform up to the same expectations as the other seasonal heroes, that's why you're so low on the hero. But we do have to keep in mind that good is subjective in a way, right? This hero is solid in Ash Magisteria, which is one of the most farmed dungeons, right? Speed gear is just a tier above. The Salvation set is a decent set. You only need it on a couple heroes, but it does kind of change some of your dungeon compositions and the way that you can progress. So it is a pretty important dungeon to farm. So that's really nice. And in PvP, if they make her changes, depending on what they're going to do, she could be really, really viable there based on, the mindset from Escape that speed is really, really important. So yeah, the hero probably isn't as bad as I've been making her out to be, but with all things considered, what I said with the other seasonal heroes, for her to only be useful in maybe 1 or 2 places is a letdown. But let's see what happens with the changes. Let's see if it's worth it or not. I was pretty conservative with my pulls for good reason. So I'm hoping that the change is really good, and then I go in and I try and get as many copies as I possibly can of this hero, so I don't have to waste any kind of ascension pots on the hero, and we'll go from there. But guys, remember that this summon event, it is not until Monday. I think it ends on Sunday. Saturday. Yeah, so you are going to have to pull enough to try and complete this. I always suggest going after the books. So get 1 copy for now. You can even get 2 if you want to, because you're probably going to need 2 legendary heroes to complete the summon event. And then on Monday, we'll check back in and see if she's going to get better. So yeah, I just want to have a little discussion, talk about her usefulness. She's not as bad as I've been, I guess indirectly or subconsciously clickbaiting. I haven't been trying to do that. I truly didn't think that she was super worth it. That's why I only pulled 1 copy. But with this change coming, my mind might change. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.